Hello, crafty friends. It's Elisa from Paisley Papyrus here with another episode of my Christmas Day Stampin' Card series. Today we are going to make this cute card. This is my prototype, of course, and I'm going to show you how it was made. First, you are going to need a piece of A2 card base, and this one is in black licorice. And to make an A2 card base, it's an 8.5 by 11 card stock piece cut in half and then folded in half. Next, you're going to need a piece of our mirror gold cardstock, and this one is cut to 5 3/8 by 4 1/8. Then you are going to need a piece from our cozy prints, and we're going to go with this buffalo check, and this is cut to 5 1/4 by 4 inches. And last but not least, you're going to need a scrap of white cardstock. This is our whipped cream cardstock here. So let me set those aside and we will get started on our card. The very first thing I'm going to do is pull in this piece of paper right here that I've already used for just such a thing as this. I'm going to put a little bit of our gold sparkle silk on the back. Now I'm going to concentrate my gold silk kind of across over on this side of the card. And then, because that is not quite enough to suit me, we're going to add a little bit more right over here. Then we're going to take that and set it aside, and we're going to pull in our black licorice silk, and we're going to give it a little sprinkle of that as well in the same area. Whoops, and as you can see, it's not always controllable, so sometimes it will go where you don't want it to, but the bulk of it is going to be across our card like that. Then we're going to pull in our whipped cream silk, and we're going to do our final layer of silk. Again, trying to concentrate it down here in this corner. Whoop, and it went where I didn't want it to go, but that's okay. That's kind of the beauty of silk. Now we're going to set that aside to dry, and then we are going to use our Poppy Bud die set. And oh, I forgot to mention, you're going to need a little scrap of lemongrass as well. And we're going to use this die right here to cut out a piece of lemongrass. So you're going to ignore the buds and just use this. Hang on one second, and I'm going to go cut that. Okay, so I'm back from my cutting machine, and I have used this die and cut out this little piece of sprig right there. We're going to set him right there and put this back on our magnetic sheet over here. Set that guy off to the side. And then one of the things that our gold mirror paper, it doesn't have very many in a pack. I think it has 8 in a pack. Let me double check that. It only has 5 sheets in a pack. So we are going to make sure that we get the most out of this pack by using we're not going to leave all of that on there as the layer underneath. We are going to use our Journey rectangles, and we're going to cut out a piece like that. And then from the middle, we're also going to cut out a piece like this. So I'm going to take that off camera and be right back with that die cut piece. All right, we are back from our die cutting station, and you can see I cut out the inside of my mirror gold, and I also cut out my oval from the inside part. No one will ever know that that is missing underneath. So we're going to take that and set it aside. All right, next we're going to take this scrap piece of white cardstock that I told you about, and I have my Christmas stamp already set up in my Misty Stampin' Tool, and let me find the stamp set to show you what that comes from. This beautiful Christmas stamp comes from our Holiday Script stamp set that has Believe, Christmas, Peace, and Joy, and the beauty of it is it also can be purchased with matching dies so that you don't have to fussy cut that out. So I'm going to take our black licorice ink, and I am going to ink up my word Christmas, and I'm going to close my Misty, and you can see my magnets were a little bit in the way there, and that is the beauty of the Misty, is that it won't matter because I can shift those to the side. I can re-ink and close it again, and nothing shifted, so it will be a perfect impression. That is a great example of why I prefer to stamp with a stamp positioning tool. The Misty is my personal favorite, but I also have the Tim Holtz as well. But I find that Fun Stampers Journey stamps stamp best in the Misty. So there we have a beautiful Christmas font. I'm going to close this up and set this aside, and I'm going to cut this out with its matching die. All right, I'm back from my die cutting station again, and this time I have cut out my word with its coordinating die, and we have a beautiful Christmas word font in our font. Okay, I'm going to set that aside, and believe it or not, we are about ready to assemble our card. Let me pull back in this panel here. We are going to take him, and we're going to add a little bit of our Journey adhesive to the back here, all the way around the edges. You don't really have to, oops, and that one went over the edge. So I'm just going to use my finger and shove him back around the corner. Then we're going to pull this in, give it a little wipe. Now, I will say with the gold mirror, you want to be a little careful because it indents pretty easily. And so I've been kind of babying it more than I would a traditional piece of cardstock because I don't want those indents in my, to appear. And over here you can see, well, we're going to have to live with that. Can you see that little bit of adhesive sticking out? So you want to make sure that you're concentrating on what you're doing and don't do what I just did and let a little adhesive hang out the side. Hopefully the recipient of my card won't mind. So we're going to add a little more adhesive back here and flip that over and adhere it to our card. I just love the look of the mirrored gold. So there you have it, almost done. So then we are going to pull in our little gold foil here. Can you see those little bumps right there that I'm talking about? I am not excited about that. So it is very tender, like I said. So here's the back side of our little leaf. You want to just barely put a little Journey glue on here. You want to use the least amount that you can get away with using. And we're going to take that and flip it over and set him right about here. And see, even that, I used too much. You can see it oozing out the edge. Good thing with Journey Craft Glue is that it dries clear. So, in doing this the first time, I discovered that the best way to get my glue dots on underneath my little gems is to go ahead and put the glue dot on here and then add the gem. And that does two things. First of all, it makes placement super simple, and it also means that the glue dot can help hold down the little end of the green. So I'm going to pause the video because you don't want to sit here and watch me do this. So I'll be right back. Okay, my glue dots are all on, and next I'm going to bring in my rainbow drops, and I'm going to use these red rainbow drops gemstones to decorate my little, I guess, holly bush here. I'm not sure what you would call this. So I'm using a mix of the big and the small. I'm only using one big because I think it's a little too big otherwise. And I'm going to put some medium ones here and here. Let's see if I can get that on there just so. And then the rest of them will be the smallest size. And using the glue dots is so much easier. So we'll put this guy right there and kind of slide him into place. And 3 more little guys. Oops, I think one just went flying out of the bin. This guy right there. And last but not least, this guy right here. Now, in the moment, it looks a little bit like a gluey mess, but it will dry clear and will be beautiful in the end. So we'll close that up and set him aside. And then we're almost done. So I'm going to give that 1 second to dry while I make my triple bow for you. Hang on 1 second. I don't know what's wrong with me today. I seem to have forgotten everything over here at my filming station. So I just have a little bit of our Journey twine here, and I'm going to make a triple bow. And to do that, I'm going to go around my fingers once, twice, a third time, and then I'm going to hold it right here, and then I'm going to snip down here a little ways. So then I'm going to take this tail that I have over here. Hold on, let me get that out of the way so you can see better. And I'm going to go down through my 2 fingers here. And then I'm going to come back up and see this piece right here. I'm going to go down through that. And then I'm going to go left to right and pull it tight. Okay. And you have a cute little triple bow. Fantastic. Ready to go on your project. All right, let's set that aside and we will adhere it all together. So then I'm going to flip this guy over. I'm going to add a little bit of our adhesive on the back here. Place him right about there. And then we're going to take our Journey glue again. We're going to put it just a smidge right here along the back, and then just a tiny bit out here on the sides. And then we will take him and put him kind of right about there. And hold him in place for just a second while the glue adheres. And then we're going to take one more glue dot off here, and we're going to flip our bow over. My bow doesn't want to be where I want him to be, so I'm going to force him to be there with my glue dot. So I'm putting that on, peeling that off, and then I'm going to take my fingers and give it a little smush right here to make sure all that glue is behind the bow. I'm going to put it right here on the stem, and then I'm going to use my fun scissors and cut that off. And there you have it, our finished card. Now as soon as that's all dry, it will be just as beautiful as this one. So I hope you've enjoyed our card today in our Christmas Day Stampin' Card series, and I hope you'll come back and join me again. Thanks, bye-bye.